Welcome everyone to the Healing Simplified podcast, where we navigate this path to healing together and simplify the journey one perspective shift at a time. Healing has become so complex. It's become so overwhelming. It's almost like the journey to become healthy is now becoming unhealthy. And our goal is to help you simplify this, get back to the basics, and put you in the driver's seat so you can finally get the results you want and you can get back to living. Today, I want to talk about sleep and sleep hygiene, because I think that a lot of people, when they talk about sleep, they're missing the point, right? We talk about, or everyone talks about, wear a sleep mask, make your room cold, get darkening shades, meditate, take a warm bath, take an Epsom salt bath, stop drinking coffee by noon, eat a bedtime snack, read before bed, and the list goes on. But here's the issue. Most of these things address the effects of poor sleep, but they don't address the cause. And here's the truth. This is something that we truly believe. Your bedtime routine starts the second you wake up in the morning. And this is what is always getting overlooked. Why? Because the second you wake up and how you sync with your environment, your habits, behaviors, and your nutrition is going to dictate what your biology does during the day, right? And during the night. It's kind of like taping your mouth, right? And people think they need to tape their mouth, which they don't. And the thing is, the reason you're mouth breathing at night is because of what's going on during the day. So if we take the time to change our environment so it supports us, so we're not going to bed in a sympathetic state, then we'll naturally stop mouth breathing at night, right? It's cause and effect. Now, I think the biggest thing that people are missing beside all these things is they're not talking about melatonin. Now, when we talk about melatonin, what do most people think? Well, it's a supplement. Everyone needs it. You should take it if you can't sleep. Unfortunately, when you take melatonin, it enters the body through the GI tract. And when we understand melatonin biologically, that's not how melatonin works. Now, there's two types of melatonin. The one type that everyone knows about, it's produced in your pineal gland, and people think it's a sleep hormone, and it's not. It's a circadian signaling hormone, and it really thrives in darkness. You need about 3 hours of darkness to melatonin to come out to play, for the body to pass the reins from the pituitary to the pineal, so melatonin can do its job, which is really autophagy and mitophagy. This is how your cells repair. This is how your immune system, your thyroid, your gut lining, etc. repair at night, is when melatonin's active, because it activates all these nighttime programs so you can repair and regenerate. But the key is darkness, and I'll get into that. But here's the kicker. That's 5% of the melatonin produced in the body. Key points: it doesn't like blue light. It doesn't like light. It thrives on darkness. It's when we really go into this repair and regeneration of autophagy and mitophagy. Again, we don't need intermittent fasting, because if we live in a way to support melatonin, which happens from the second we wake up, I'll get to that, you will activate it at night, essentially, and you'll go into repair and regeneration. You'll wake up refreshed, right? So I think it's one thing that people are missing is when we talk about melatonin, they're talking about the wrong piece, because again, if we give the body what it needs, nature will do the rest. The second type of melatonin is 95% of the melatonin that's produced in the body. Now, this actually is produced in the morning with red infrared light. Now, this is actually intracellular melatonin. It's in the cells, and this is really important because this intracellular melatonin acts as like a fire extinguisher to put out fires. It's anti-inflammatory. It's an antioxidant. And the list goes on. It's very protective. This is why morning sunlight is so key for many reasons, but for this one reason, and this is why your bedtime routine starts in the morning, right? And again, this melatonin, same thing. It needs outside time to actually thrive, to do its job. So how do we live in a way to support melatonin? Well, first thing is we need to get out at sunrise. Why? That red infrared. And we regulate many things, but one of those being the HP axis. So we cause that dimming up of cortisol, which is those daytime programs, right? And this allows leptin to kind of dock, so we actually get an appetite in the morning. This allows us to stimulate that 95% of that melatonin, that intracellular melatonin, which is a huge antioxidant for the cells. They can do their job to produce energy, to support autophagy and mitophagy, and the list goes on. Another important piece of the day in the morning is that UVA. And again, if you got questions about this, you want to track it in your area, go to the description. There's an app there called My Circadian app, and you can track it in your area. It's pretty simple because it's going to change based on where you live and the seasons. UVA is important for many reasons, but one important reason with regards to melatonin is UVA causes the conversion of a lot of aromatic amino acids. These UV photons activate them. One of them being tryptophan, and that gets converted to serotonin. That does many things, especially for the gut, but what it does is it builds up and it docks it to hold it to be converted to melatonin later at night, right? It's converted. So if we get out at morning sunrise, we support that cortisol melatonin relationship, right? And number two, if we get out UVA rise, what are we doing? We're supporting the production of melatonin at night. Now, during the day, of course, we have to work. Maybe we are yellow blue blockers. Maybe we take breaks. Maybe we drive with the windows down. Maybe we roll the window down at work. Maybe we step outside for a minute. It doesn't have to be excessive. But at the same time, when it comes nighttime, we have to make sure that we're living in a way to pass the reins from the pituitary to pineal. There's a lot of factors here. A lot of people think it's just about protecting yourself from blue light. Maybe it's using candles. Maybe it's not turning on lights. Maybe it's using red lights or incandescent lights. You can wear blue blockers, like orange blue blockers, right? These are from Viva Rays, link in the description. But at the same time, remember, the key is really getting outside at that sunset. Can you step outside for a minute or two and get that sunset to signal the body, because it's a circadian signaling hormone, to go from light to darkness? So now the daytime programs start to come down and the nighttime programs kick up. And this is when melatonin really comes out to play. So yes, you can use different lights and candles to protect your eyes, but if you're not getting outside, you're not getting that signaling, that light switch. So you're not getting the true melatonin spike at night to go into autophagy and mitophagy. And it's important because what we see within our Nourish Nervous System 90-day program, what we see within our one-on-one coaching is the people that really focus on creating new healthy habits and creating change and getting outside a little more and protecting their eyes. Remember, because melatonin does not like blue light. It likes darkness. That sleep is one of the fastest results that people get in the shortest amount of time. It could be 2 weeks, it could be a month, it could be 3 months. But we've worked with so many people with severe insomnia, and they've had some amazing results in the shortest amount of time just by changing their light environment and focusing on getting outside at different times of the day to support their daytime programs, right? To interact and work with their nighttime programs. So it's important to understand that it's not just about protection, it's about getting outside. Again, why? Because we live in a culture that doesn't go outside. And when we do, we fear the sun. We wear layers, we lather up, we wear sunglasses, we don't roll the windows down, we drive to work, we go to the gym after work, and we come home, we're never seeing the light of day. And the problem is there's no sleep mask, there's no meditation, there's no bedtime snack, etc. that's going to support melatonin. It's impossible, right? So a lot of you that are taking your melatonin, what you truly need to do is look at your habits and behaviors and say, how am I not living in a way to support my body to do what it's designed to do, right? And shift your focus from that nighttime routine. Now, I'm not saying like if your nighttime routine helps you, do it, right? It's not going to hurt you, but at the same time, you're going to get so much more benefit from living in a way to support melatonin with that sunrise, that UVA rise, getting outside during the day or taking breaks when needed at work, and getting outside at night. Why? Again, you're supporting that melatonin at night, that intracellular melatonin in the morning. You're supporting those daytime programs and nighttime programs. And remember, there's so many other things that are happening when you do this. And if you do this consistently, not perfect, for a short amount of time, and you continue through the seasons, you're going to get amazing results. And you're going to be able to say, you know what? I don't need my sleep mask anymore. I don't have to do this crazy bedtime routine. I don't need a bedtime snack, and so forth. There's one key thing that I forgot to mention that kind of just popped in my head. It's also not just about getting outside. We have to understand that there's a window, and the window changes with the seasons, right? In the summer, the days are longer. The sun rises much earlier and it sets much later. In the winter, that window closes. What does that mean? That window is really important. This is something we talk about within the Nourish Nervous System 90-day program and our one-on-one coaching, which you can find those links in the description. And it's really important. I think it's another piece that no one is really talking about when it comes to sleep. What this means is you should work slowly on syncing your nutrition with that window, right? Because if we eat after sunset, we're telling our body it's daytime. When darkness not only helps us sleep and mitophagy and autophagy, but darkness means less digestive activity. Why? So our digestive system can actually repair and regenerate at night. And this is why a lot of people have gut issues and sleep issues, because they're eating too late. So we want to slowly work on that feeding window once we've worked on our habits and behaviors. Another piece of that window is your activity level. Most people work out early morning or late at night. It's probably the worst time of the day that you can actually work out. Your metabolism is actually the most active midday, depending on the season, like 10 to 3, somewhere in there. And I understand it's hard for people to work out at that time. But if you have sleep issues, you not only need to change your light environment and start getting outside a little more. Take breaks, get off the roller coaster of life and do things differently if you want to get different results. But you have to look at when you're eating, right? Am I eating too late? And what a lot of people say is, well, I'm hungry at night. That means how you're eating and living during the day is not supporting your body to be satiated and sustained at night, so those nighttime programs can come out to play. So you need to look at those things. It's kind of like mouth taping, it's cause and effect. But you also have to look at your activity level. So if you're not sleeping, it's light environment and habits and behaviors. It's your window, your feeding window, but it's also your activity window, right? Am I working out too late? And is it working against my system? Because what we've seen over 25 years of working with people, it's these 3 things that are affecting people or affecting people's sleep and not allowing them to not only sleep, but repair and regenerate, right? And then they start chasing their gut issues, their hormone issues, their thyroid issues with supplements, labs, and protocols. And instead of making change to saying, you know what, maybe I shouldn't work out that late. Maybe I do need to work on my nutrition during the day so I am sustained by dinner time, and after dinner, and I don't need a snack, and so forth. So hopefully this makes sense to a lot of you. And at the same time, it's probably bringing up a lot of challenges, a lot of confusion, a lot of questions. So if you have questions, all you need to do is put them below and we'll answer them.